Your hands are tired, your soul feels worn, chasing the day since the crack of dawn. The mirror whispers, who have you become? A shadow of light or a rising sun? Reset your mind, reset your heart, hit the switch back to the start.
Welcome back to another episode of the Caregiver Reset. Today we have a very special guest, Luisa from the Therapy Garden, and we cannot wait to hear all about what she has in store for our community. And don't forget, if you are new here to the Caregiver Reset, to like and subscribe and share this video with another caregiver or person in the community that you think could learn and benefit. And let's begin. Luisa, thank you so much for being a guest on the Caregiver Reset. And tell us a little bit more about the Therapy Garden and who you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Luisa. I own the Therapy Garden. We are a private practice in Hazlet, New Jersey. And we do specialize actually in neurodivergent affirming care. So we work a lot with our adult population, our 21 and over, where we are a DDD approved vendor. We provide speech therapy services. We also provide some really awesome and unique programming that allows us to kind of cater to what our individuals want. But we also work with our pediatric clients as well. So we do see little ones. We see our pediatrics. Our youngest, I think right now, is around 18 months. And then we see teenagers, adults. I think our oldest person is around 57. So we offer all of those services, and it has just been an amazing experience so far with being able to provide something that is not often seen within the community, especially as the neurodivergent or neurodiversity affirming movement, I feel like is really coming into play, that people are more accepting of the way that we do therapy and how it is more person-centered. And I'm just excited to be able to offer that for the past 3 years to our community.
Yeah, and I love seeing you're part of Central Jersey Special Needs Community.
Yes.
That's how we first met, and
Yes.
then, reaffirmed and reintroduced
Yes.
you. And it's just been so beautiful to see all of the different offers that you have. There's constantly a new flyer, a new
Yes.
thing being shared, and I'm like, oh, the Therapy Garden, and I'm like, oh, they're doing such great things. And so,
Thank you.
what have been tell us a little bit more about some of the programming that you offer.
Yeah, so we offer, basically our programs are when our clients show an interest in something, we make it happen. So we have clients who were very interested in art. I also love art. I have an art minor on top of the speech and all the other things, but it's just something that I've always loved, and I've always felt that I can connect with everybody that I've worked with through that. So I often do a lot of just little projects in my own sessions, and we expanded it to be a program. So now we offer studio art classes and painting classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays during our semesters when we are on. We actually just finished our classes yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we are off for the summer, but we are starting something new in the summer called Make and Meditate. So I'm also an adaptive yoga trainer as well. So I'm going to be teaching a yoga meditation alongside my best friend Noelle, who teaches our art classes in the park. And we created that because our students wanted something in the summertime, but they didn't want to take the whole break and just not have us and be with us during that time. So we have that starting in the beginning of July, and that will run all the way to the end of August. And then
That's probably really restorative for you too. Because again, I don't know how often you're practicing now with how busy you are.
Yes, it's
so
hard.
It's hard. So then that's how I feel about Reiki is like
Yes.
whenever I do a Reiki session on somebody else, it gets me to slow down. It gets me to
Yes.
actually embody my practice.
Yes, and this has been actually a conversation I've been having with my other employees who are my friends and like people that I talk to, even my clients, where I have some clients who will check in and they're like, well, when was the last time you did yoga? And I'm like, honestly,
You're looking a little stiff.
I know. I was like, okay, is that like a kind thing or is that like a backhanded thing to say? But and then we talk about social cues and like things that we can say to people, but it's more of like out of I care for you,
Concern,
and have you
sure.
been working on yourself lately, which I appreciate because like I do so much of that with them one-on-one that they are now doing it back to me, which is beautiful. And also like I'm like, oh my God, I'm not listening to my own direction and my own things that I say to my clients, but it's when I do it with them. Like I do a lot of one-on-one work throughout the week. I'll have a speech session, and then a lot of the times they're back to back with me. So I'll have speech for an hour and then a 45-minute yoga session, So we'll do things like that where we can bring in our breathing techniques, how are we regulating before we can learn something new in speech, and we kind of embody all of it together. And that's been a wonderful thing that I've been able to bring as a program. We also offer social groups throughout the month. So I call them connection groups, but I think they're more well known when people see that I advertise for them as social groups. I don't ever.
I love like I'm such a
Yeah.
we want connection, we want community, we want
Yes.
I'm always saying those things.
Yes, and that's how I'm trying to reframe the way I talk to our families and the way that I talk to the community on our social media, or in any way. So it's, when I say social group, it's like, yeah, we're all there, but some individuals might want to sit in we have actually a setup in the office that looks just like this, and I have one guy who like prefers to socialize by sitting in one of these chairs, and he kind of people watches, and he'll get up from time to time and he'll join in on an activity, and then he'll sit back down, and like sometimes his family will say, oh, well, I want him to be talking to people and interacting. And then I take that as a learning moment to say, well, his way of socializing looks like this. And he's most comfortable like this. And mom and dad, like the family has reported that he never says he doesn't want to come to us once a month for our group. And in a lot of his other programs, it's you have to sit in this chair, don't move, say these things, then this person talks, then you go back and forth to each other, and it's that neurotypical conversation, right? And our goals it's not organic, and our goals don't reflect that either. So it's not so-and-so will talk turns between like 4 times of a turn, and where I say something, you say something, then I say something, then you say something. That's not what we do when it comes to our goals and we create for our speech clients. Nonetheless, the goals we create for our groups. So we have a group like that. We have another group that I actually meet up in Jamesburg at the coffee shop. We use a lot of public spaces too, especially for accessibility. I'm working and fighting with my HOA right now at where my office is to kind of help maybe build a ramp and get
Well, if you need us to bring Zach there and raise all types of
Thank you so much.
energy and we got a crew. We got a whole crew.
Actually would appreciate. I will be calling you, because I'm just trying to like get all that in place this way I can. Otherwise, I'm looking to maybe like move to a different space that has the accessibility, because I want to be able to provide services to everyone. So I try my best to, if someone needs something, I try my best to do it, especially with the accessibility points. So when we are in a coffee shop, I want to make sure that that is as accessible as it can be. We meet up in Homedale. Actually, we now have.
Do you go to Bellworks? Have you ever gone?
Yeah, we have done events there actually.
We love going to Bellworks.
Yeah, so that's going to be my next one, is like we'll have a group meeting there, because it's just awesome. Like even if it's just a walking group,
Yes.
and we just walk around, I think that's like the next, you heard it here, folks, first.
Sign up on the wait list.
Yeah. So like just something, they're simple. Nothing is like too complex in a point that it's more so like, you guys get out of your house, we get to do something together as a group. No one's forcing you to be a certain way. It is just you come as you are, and we accept you as that, and we're just having fun for like an hour or so.
What is the role for a caregiver in some of those connection groups?
So some of our groups are fully drop off. You get some time to yourselves. Like our one in Hazlet is, you have 2 hours. Go shopping. We're in a really great space. You can go to the store, like supermarket shopping. You can go across the street. You can go to Panera. Go to dinner with your husband or wife, or your partner, whoever. Like, go. Moms meet up sometimes, and they take each other out, and they'll go to eat something together and have that time. So that's really great for that group. But other groups where we might require families to stay for a little bit, and that also is like, it's great for support, that we get extra support with the individuals, but it's also to kind of show parents how we run and operate. And then sometimes we'll do groups too, where it's like caregiver and the adult or the child. So whoever is with them, like we all get to be together, we all get to learn together, enjoy something that is not, we're not looking at your child's disability, we are looking at your relationship as mother and son, or daughter and father, or whatever. Like that's what we're looking at.
Have you ever heard of Camp Chatterbox?
Yes.
So we are going this summer.
You are?
And
Yay!
I'm so excited.
Oh my
I've never
gosh.
been to camp, and I'm
Yes.
like, but there's like a whole parenting program
Yes.
and caregiver program, and then Zach goes with somebody, and I'm like,
Oh, I know. It gives you like a little agita. Like you're like, oh.
I didn't know what to do with myself for a day.
Right.
When we did an inclusive field day.
Yeah.
I was like, and he had a specialized person that I think she was an OT, and like Zach loved her, and
Yep.
but I was like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
You know, and I've left him obviously alone. Or with
Right.
his dad, with that, you know, with his grandmother, but
Right.
it's just so much different
There's far
when
and
you're,
few,
you know,
I
and he
know.
goes to school. Like if school
Right.
were to be like, hey, we're putting on a program, we're putting on a summer camp. Here, take them.
Great.
You know,
I
like,
trust you guys.
yes, why isn't enough? Like, go,
Yeah.
take them. But this feels so huge. So
Yeah.
I would definitely be one of those, like,
Yeah.
can I start in the first group where it's a little bit more of the one-on-ones and then
Yeah.
we can branch off just because, but I know he would be okay. It's my own anxiety.
Yes.
It's my own.
No, I know. We have, it's like families come to us too. And I have a family that we work one-on-one with their child. He's autistic and he's 12. And, you know, they've been kicked out of therapies, I think a handful of times from my understanding, because there's certain like behaviors or things that like the individual does that like people have not been equipped to handle. And mom called me and I was like, no, I'll try, like, let's do it. And we are now the only place that she's ever been able to leave and go grocery shopping by herself, you know, and like, she's like, I've never left him at therapy before, you know, and it's things like that where I'm also working with mom on her comfort level of, why don't you go get a cookie at the bakery, you know, or go do something, go sit in the car.
Yeah.
You know, we have the park down the street. Go sit at the park. Like, do something for yourself. And then that's when we start having the conversations with mom of, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what to do for myself because
So that's when I'm going to come in and do a workshop.
and that's exactly. So like, that's what we've been trying to do. Like me and my employees have been talking of what can we do for the parents? Like we want to maybe bring in an esthetician and we could do like facials, but then like conversations with like bringing in a mental health professional. Like those are the things that we're like gearing up to maybe do more in like summertime because we might have potentially like if people are in ESY, we could do something during the day, you know? Or if like we can't do that, we could do another one at night. Like we're trying to feel out what the community needs. And that's definitely one of the things. Because I think, obviously, I know you've talked about it too, like mental health sometimes, especially with like our older parents, tends to be a taboo topic that they don't want to navigate towards. But it's something that myself and my other therapists in my office have taken on the role of, but it's not our profession, you know? We have the empathy, we understand, but when we say, how would you feel about talking to someone more specialized in this area? They're like, no, I have you.
Yeah.
I don't need that. And I'm like, no, I understand that, but I think you'd benefit from
Right.
something like
you
that.
can go deeper. You
Yeah.
can explore more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something we definitely get into a lot as well.
No, and it's even like taking away the stigma and you see it, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't put time for myself. I
Right.
can't invest in myself. I can't
Right.
do these things. And, you know, but that investment in yourself, taking that time for yourself allows you to show up more for your loved ones.
Yeah, and I'm very transparent with my families where I say, I'm like, I know I'm not a parent yet. I am a support needs sibling, but, you know, I'm like, I've been in therapy for 5 years and I love it. You know, it's changed who I am for the better and how I react to things, how I take on stress. Sometimes things still build up and I still have a hard time with
Don't worry,
it.
you got my book now.
I
so
know. I'm like, and
You'll be equipped.
exactly. So I'm like, things build up. I get it. Like life happens and therapy is not the fix all thing, but over time it can be that for you where like and I see it in myself where sometimes I'm like, I would have reacted this way, but I didn't. And I did this. Nice. Right.
pat on the
Exactly.
back,
I'm
right?
like, that's great. Like, and that's growth. And people want to see, especially today's day and age, quick.
Yes.
Like immediate reinforcement of like, I did this thing for myself. Now I want to see the benefit and reap the benefits. But life doesn't work that way.
No,
You know?
no.
So this is a slow moving thing.
I always, and you'll relate to this, I always remind my clients it's a yoga practice.
Yes.
It's a meditation practice. It's not a one and done.
Right.
It requires work. It requires ongoing, attention to.
Yeah.
It can't be even face care.
No.
Right? Like
Oh, no. It's not
it's
like
a
the newest
practice.
trend.
It's a
Right.
routine. Exactly. So you mentioned being a supports needs siblings. Tell us what that means and what your journey has been on that.
Yeah, so I have a brother who's 28 now. He has Down syndrome, and I'm 29, so we're very close in age, and we have just been close always. And he is just like my inspiration behind why I really do everything that I do. And it's funny because even through high school, I did not want to be a speech therapist. Everyone was like, you're going to go into education. You should do all these things in education, advocacy. And I was like, in my head, I was like, that's my normal already. So why would I do what I'm already used to doing? I'm going to be a marine biologist. And like, that was my thought process, that I wanted to do that because that was so cool. Like, that stuff interests me as well. And I love science and all of those things, especially with animals. But like, in high school, I did this project, and it was ironically in math class. And I was like, wait a minute, like, I could take my normal and the things that I'm already really good at and hone in on that and really take those skills and refine them to like the population that I really want to work with, which was the disabled population. And as my brother got older, and as I went through college, and as he graduated school at 21, I got to see in real time
what happens.
Yes.
I know it's like D-Day, like you,
Yes.
everyone. But then I look at all the programs that are offered and I'm like, oh, I wish we could have the D budget so we
Right.
could participate in some of these
Right,
groups.
exactly.
So it feels like, but I hear the drop off is significant. So tell us more.
Yes, which is why I try to do both, and I try to work with both populations, not both populations, age groups, I guess. So like the pediatrics and the adults, because there is that, my parents are very proactive people. Like, they were on it from an early age for him, Not every parent is that way, and not every parent has access to the resources that we had access to, which is why I try to be an access to parents as well now, especially my younger guys who the parents look at. Sometimes in the waiting room, you see the parents of the older population and the younger ones, and they're like, oh my God, like, we had this conversation while he was in speech, like, should I be doing X, Y, and that starts that conversation. And again, like, I'm very grateful to have a family who's so supportive. My parents are fantastic. We have a younger sister. She's wonderful. Like, she is, like, me and Angelica, my sister, like, we are the balance for my brother. Like, I am like a little bit more on the, like, I have the background in this field, I have that knowledge, and then she is like that, like, rock for him, too. Like, we both are, but like, she is that, like, I know what he needs, like medical wise, like any of those things, like, she's on it for him. So it's a really good balance for, God forbid, when that conversation happens too, which we've had with our parents, of when they're no longer capable of caring for him, it's a good, like, space. And we made sure that we, have partners that also are very accepting and loving and, like, look at him as their own brother as well. And that's been very important for our family too. So it's, having him in my life has been that driving force, and just to see that he experienced certain things, also being non-speaking and having verbal apraxia, he knows what he wants to say, and it doesn't always come out the way he wants it to. Through the business, through my office, we were able to get him a device that he does use. Cool. We are a very total communication approach type of space too. So if he's verbally saying something, through his body and his physicality, whether, when he tells you something in the way he looks and the way that he's feeling, or he's using his device, like, we accept all of that communication. And that's something that has been very changing for him, as he's gone through experiences, even in workplaces that were supposedly supposed to accept adults with disabilities. They were not accommodating to him, and I've had to have conversations with them on equality versus equity and what that looks like, and that not every person with a disability looks the same or needs the same supports, and that we need to balance somewhere, and provide the supports for every individual. And, like, sadly, that situation was a very negative situation for him, and it resulted in a lot of anxieties for him, which is now something that we've been working through as a family for so long.
Wow.
And and this is a kid who was prom king, very exuberant, like, wears Sal on the dance floor, like, like, breaking it down. And, like, he has his spurts that come back, here and there. But also as an adult, and now I also see too, as, like, we all change as time goes on. His anxieties fluctuate, my anxieties fluctuate. And we're just there to support him, as a family, his friends, he has changed, his communities change, but at the same time, he has found more support now that we have my office. Like, he's in speech 4 days a week now.
I was gonna say, does he come hang out?
He's there every day. It's part of his routine. He gets up, he has breakfast, he gets in the car. My mom takes him to Dunkin' Donuts. He comes to my office.
What does he get at Dunkin'?
He gets, like, a refresher. Like, he has to have a drink.
Because we don't need.
Yeah, he has to have a drink.
I mean, I have to run.
No, and
when I'm going to run my errands,
like,
I need my drinks too.
That's
Okay,
like
come
what
on.
it is. So, like, we're like driving, and he's like, oh my God, or like, he'll go on the Dunkin' app in the morning, and he's like, Mom, Kiwi refresher.
You know what's up.
Right. And she's like, oh my God. And like, so then we have to go. He has to always go. My sister, my mom, my dad, and one of us, someone has to take him to get a drink. And then he comes
So
to
it's
the
not
office.
America runs on Dunkin'.
No, it's Sal runs on Dunkin'. And like, if they need a spokesperson,
Get him
you
a
know, if you need a
sponsorship
face, he's there. He's ready. Like the people at Dunkin' know him. Like it's,
I love
it's,
it.
you know, he needs that. So, but that's his routine. And like, it's really hard for him. He used to be a very like go with the flow guy. But then once that anxiety kind of creeped in, it was like, I need to know what to anticipate. And Dunkin' has become that thing that he needs to anticipate. So even on Saturdays, or Sundays, we've been able to be like, therapy garden's closed, you know, like we don't have to go every day. And he's like getting better with it. Like I will say, like from years ago when like he really was having a hard time to now, it's been leaps and bounds of a change, you know? So, and even like with that, then there's comes gastro issues when you have anxiety. It's the
Yeah.
whole gauntlet.
Yeah.
But, you
Well,
know,
even like I think about puberty.
Yeah.
Like I had to ask our endocrinologist. I was
Yes.
Like, what does puberty look like in a guy? Like,
Yeah.
oh boy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to expect. And, you know, he's got a happy demeanor now, but I hear, you know, puberty can shift that, can change that. And then again, now you're in another phase too,
Yes.
of young adulthood.
yes, and that young adult, sometimes we hear a lot of parents will be like, oh, it's like he hits puberty later on. He has like his like mood swings and things like that. And you hear that, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, or if it's just that he is changing as an adult and we're trying to make sure that he's as like, he can be as independent as he can be and that his autonomy is there. But he's also safe and that like he does need a lot of support and that people, you know, we drive him around, we like make his schedule. He loves his schedule. He loves his things. Like, you know, we want to make sure that he still has that autonomy, but there's a little piece of that he can't always have because he does rely on us to do pretty much everything, you know? But we do try to like create, you know, certain schedules for him or like, when you're showering, what do we do? Like, let's go through these steps, like, you know, let's wash your hair. Let's get, you know, so like he has a little bit more of that too. But like it's the family, going back to that, like some families are just like, yeah, it's like maybe like that late puberty of just like maneuvering things. I'm like, I don't know. Like I left college and then I moved back home and I was like, what the hell? Like,
I was free.
yeah. And like, and it's hard. Like, it's just hard to maneuver
Love you,
through
Mom.
adulthood. Yeah. Like, it's hard to maneuver through adulthood when things change and his schedule changed and things change and people change. So that's just something that, you know, as a sister, I'm watching and like trying to see and how we can support in the best way. And sometimes I'm not the answer, you know, but all of us together have been working really hard and it's been good.
What have you, I guess, is there a memory that particularly sticks out for you being a sibling and, you know, growing up, whether that's from early childhood, middle school, where at high school, where like I guess it still sticks with you today, whether it was positive or negative?
Just about being a support needs sibling.
Yeah.
I feel like from childhood, I mean, Sal was always like, us being siblings, it was always just our normal. Like that was what we were used to doing. But then like, I think as we all started getting older and we started to see that other people did not have those experiences as siblings. Like I can remember like from when I was a child and we'd be out at a store and I would have other kids would be like staring at him or pointing. And I went into immediate mama bear mode and would like stand in front of him and would like be like, what do you want? Or like, what are you looking at? Like, that's my brother. What are you looking at? And then the kids wouldn't know what to say and they would go run to their mom. And I, as a kid, looking at another kid my age who was doing that, I was like, oh, that kid sucks. Blah, 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 blah. But now as an adult, when I look at
The
that,
parent sucks. No.
well, that's like where I'm like, we need more education from the
Yeah.
parents on how we are looking at individuals who might look different from you or your family. So like that, it's not the child that I put to blame necessarily. It's like we need to educate on that everyone is very different. And it doesn't matter whether you're neurotypical or not. You can have two neurotypical people next to each other. You're super different human beings. And even if you look different, that isn't something else that children need to be educated on. And I know like we're getting there. Like I
Yeah.
see it happening. It's slow and steady. It's not the same from when you and I were in school. You know, we started to see glimmers of that. Now it's different, and I do see a lot more growth, and I do see it in the children that come into my office who are neurotypical, and maybe they are working more on articulation or phonological errors, like things like that, where
But they're not doing a double take at someone who's coming in with an eye
No.
gaze or, coming
No,
in and
not
and
always.
completely nonverbal.
Right. And when they do, they ask questions in like a really sweet and curious way. And we get the chance to educate them in that, and mom and dad or whoever's there get a chance to be like, yeah, like thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had that opportunity has not come yet.
Yeah.
We have some of our clients who will actually, our older clients want to be with the little ones in their sessions. So
like
they'll
a mentoring
yeah.
program.
So they'll come in, and that's something that we are working on. But they'll come into the session.
Need a little buddy.
I know. No, literally, I'm like, so like we do have that where like I'll be like, okay, can you go get me this toy from the storage space? And they'll go get that and bring it in, and they'll be like, here you go, so and so. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Like, do you want to sit with us and play this game for a little bit? And they'll join in, and it gives an opportunity for that inclusion in that space where like the child is not sure, but then they're like having so much fun, and there's
And it
no
becomes
questions.
more peer-to-peer, too.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I probably said this previously on other episodes, but there's a million things that I'm like, we need community now more than ever. That's like number one
Yeah.
that I always do. But the one that we're not going to be 100% accessible to everyone's needs 100% of the time, but we
Yeah.
can do a lot better. And
Yes.
I firmly believe like each generation has the thing that they're advocating most for.
Yes.
There's still a lot of advocacy needed in multiple spaces.
Yes.
But I think ours really is that community inclusion, that integration in public spaces, in therapeutic spaces. It's just like, again, Zach, I always call him our trifecta. Like, I feel like we're still in diapers. We use a communication device, not just an AAC. We use an eye gaze AAC.
Yes,
So that
love
feels like
that.
I say we take it up a notch,
Yeah.
and then we're also in a wheelchair. So when I'm learning about a camp, when I'm learning about, new therapy offices, when I'm learning about new things,
Yeah.
especially if you're calling it inclusive, the first thing I'm asking is it wheelchair accessible? Is
Yep.
it this? Is it that? Because
Yep.
again, when we host events, I'm making sure that there's a full-size changing table there. Why? Because that's what we need, but I
Yes.
also know that everyone in the community can benefit from that.
Yes.
We hosted an all-inclusive spring event, and we had someone who their daughter was blind, and so we made sure that we got audible chirping eggs
Yeah,
as well. And so again, it's just making it a little bit more, and that
Right.
took buying a pack for $20
Right.
on Amazon. Like
Right.
it wasn't a big deal, but to that family, it's a huge deal
Yes.
to be included, because so often we're not. And
Yes.
so, and it's a lot of it is also not that deliberate. It's going back to like younger Louisa, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not that the child was deliberately trying to be
No.
mean. They just didn't know better
Yeah.
because there was differences, and they were never exposed to those differences. And
Right.
so it's finding that balance between like costing your mental health, your brother's
Yeah.
mental health, and
Yeah.
emotional health,
Exactly.
for the sake of a learning lesson.
Right.
But then also, there's ways to go about it. And so that's something
Yes.
that I've been learning too throughout the advocacy journey of
Yes.
just like, there's not one way to advocate. So
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I've had conversations with families about that too, because sometimes parents ask, like, when people like are in the community, like, what do I say? Like, how can I educate people without looking like you're educating someone else's kid for them in a way? And those have been conversations that we've had, especially when it comes to being affirming for someone and their disability or their child's disability. And especially like when we talk about how we do therapy or goals, it's actually something that I've had a conversation with families where when we talk about goals and advocating for what we do, right, I often will say to families, what do you want to work on? And then sometimes their goals immediately are, if the child's coming in and they're non-speaking, like, well, I want them to talk verbally. And then my question is, does that make your life easier or your child's life easier?
say that again for us, pay attention.
So it's, are we working to make your life as easy as it can be? Or is that just going to make your child more frustrated, and it's not the easy route for them, right? The easy route for them is if we take a total communication approach, and that's the way we want to do it, and they're really, really accessible, or having a great time being accessible to other people using a device, and like their way that they show their body and things like that, then that's going to be the best for them.
We just interviewed also the Assistive Technology Center
Oh, cool.
from TCNJ.
Yes.
And so really hearing more about those total communication strategies. And
Yeah.
we're even seeing Zach's communication expand with the use of his eye gaze. So
Yeah.
he's not only using his eye gaze and navigating it really well, and that's why I'm
Nice.
so excited for camp. too,
Yeah,
to
it's gonna-
see,
Chatterbox is gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so excited. But he's even signing a lot more. He's always been good about body cues
Yes.
and some of his like vocalizations, but now really seeing, and his frustration levels are
Isn't it?
decreasing. Like
Yeah.
he's having a lot more patience. He's
Yes.
becoming a lot less grabby, and so again, all those other behaviors that we wanted to curb to begin with
Yeah.
are curbing because he's being understood a lot more.
Exactly.
It's not just kind of the core four, I almost call it like the core four,
Yeah.
subject matters of,
Yes.
are you hungry? Let's change your
Yes.
diaper. It's time for bed. Like,
Yeah, all the things.
all those things. He's able to say that he's mad or he's frustrated or he's feeling silly or, like it's just so cool. Even
Yes.
picking the show that he wants to watch.
Yes.
Like it's so the autonomy of that is really, it just,
Yeah.
when you meet them where they are, it changes the game.
Exactly. And that's the goal, is to meet them where they're at.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean to have the practice? So, okay, tell me what, like a typical day, what can a family expect when they're contacting the therapy garden?
Yeah.
And they're looking for services.
Yeah, so if you're looking for services, you'll call, you'll get probably someone on our admin team. You can call or text our number because we try to be accessible. Some parents, especially our younger parents, have been really loving to just text. So when they do text, we will, obviously ask the basic information. Would you like to get on a phone call to talk with us, get a little bit more of information? They'll send us sometimes like a little paragraph, or if we're on the phone, same thing. Like we're asking for them to just give us a little blurb about what they need from us and what they're seeking. And then sometimes if I'm on the phone, we'll be on the phone for far too long.
That's good too. I gotta get better at the
I
consultation
know.
calls.
So like free 15-minute consultation. I'm like 45 minutes later.
Whole session,
just-
right? Come on my show, be a guest. You'll
Yeah.
just have a session. It's fine. It's
Two
cool.
birds, one stone. So that's like usually what happens there. But if you get one of our admin, they're a little bit better at being like, how can we help you? These are the services we provide. This is how we're going to start the process. So we usually send an intake form that gets a little more information, more in depth, medical, personal, family, and then we set them up in our system. And then that is something that they have access to, so they get to see whatever files, put anything in there. And then whether it's programming or speech, it's going to be, an intake form, because we want to get information on everybody. So,
And I
yeah.
might have missed this too. Do you guys accept insurance or do you
Yes.
provide super bills? Excellent.
Yes. So we accept Aetna, Cigna, BCBS, Medicare, and DDD Medicaid.
Excellent.
So we have all of those things in there. And that's been something that's been helpful as far as accessibility wise, because there's a lot of chatter going on in the speech world too about how they're changing of codes, and I can go on and on about that. And another time.
That's the venting episode.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's just something that could change potentially. So people have been thinking about like private pay versus insurance. And right now, I just can't even think of not being accessible to people in that way. So I, want to be able to offer those insurances, and people are paying out of the wazoo for insurance. So why would you not want to use it?
Yep.
So that's something that we obviously are very happy to be able and fortunate to be able to offer our families. So yeah, we accept those insurances. Some families, especially our adults, if they don't want to use their budget, or maybe there's no more left in the budget, they can then have that back end where they can use an insurance if we accept that. We will provide a supervill if it's an insurance that we don't offer. And we try to work as much as we possibly can so we can do that. And then once we get the intake form is all filled out, you're on the schedule, we confirm, and then we get started.
Excellent. Excellent. I love
you.
it so much. I can't wait to visit
Yeah,
the
please.
center and see, and just, for you to meet Zach.
Yes.
And, for Zach to he would probably love your brother.
Thank
and
you. Oh my
just
gosh.
The interactions. What are some of the things that Sal enjoys?
Sal loves,
Besides Dunkin. I mean,
besides
we know that one.
Dunkin, his current fixation is rubber ducks.
Okay.
So
Yep, we've got
big
plenty of
rubber
those
duck
too.
guy.
Okay.
To the point where he asks everyone he comes to a program called Brunch Bunch at my office. So we have breakfast together on Thursday mornings. And yesterday he was asking everybody for money to go get ducks, and I was like in a session while he was out there, and I like had to open the door, and I was like, "Stop asking my clients for money!" And they all know, like they're all friends, so it's like it's a running joke. But then they think it's funny that like I yell at him, and then like so. But he just loves rubber ducks. But we're at a point where my mom just like sneakily brings in a bag, and she's like, "Here, put these in the," because like the kids can go and anyone can take like whatever at the end of their sessions if they want to take something to go, and it's just full of ducks. But he loves ducks. He loves music. He loves Italian music. He likes to dance. He loves Shrek. So he watches Shrek.
We just started introducing Zach
Oh.
to Shrek.
High quality movie. Shrek 2, no better sequel than Shrek 2. But my mom's at the point where she's watching it like every day. She's still loving it. But like, so she makes a lot of Shrek jokes where she's like, "Oh, well, not," like she'll say a quote from it, and I'm like, you gotta
Like, Mom, you're scripting right now.
Yeah, she is. And I'm like, you gotta tone it down a little bit. She's like, I can't help it.
I love
But
it.
yeah, he's got his little things that he likes right now, and that's
Yeah.
what he's enjoying. And he likes coming in the office a lot.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. No, and it's the universe always knows what we need, and I know that that's always hard to hear when you're in the thick of it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there were hard days, and if you want to go into that, we can certainly talk about what a hard
Yeah.
day of being a supports needs sibling
Yeah.
is like. And
I mean, sorry to cut you off.
yeah, no, go for it.
I mean, we've had definitely like behaviors come after the like bad situation at the workplace. So it's like a lot of like self-injurious things, like hurting others. And this was never something that, he experienced, or we experienced of him, like very gentle human being. But when dysregulated in those moments of like, and the situation was like that he was being yelled and screamed at and like didn't have a lot of control over what he needed to do. So then when we would ask for like, can we get a fork and let's go get this? Oh, that's not right. Let's do this. It was like, we're going into fight or flight immediately.
That's immediately what I thought was his nervous system was going to.
Very dysregulated, and he was like bobbing all around. So like we've worked really hard, and he's definitely like leaps and bounds better. But like hard days were, I had to cancel my clients and go to my parents' house and be there with them, or I had to stay at work and my sister was home, or my parents are dealing with that on their own. But I am also grateful if I'm looking at it from I play chess and not checkers situation. I opened the business immediately because of that situation. So at 26 years old, I opened my practice, and I was not planning on doing that until after I was married and had kids, and like felt like
Pretty
that
sure
would
that's
be.
when I opened my practice too. Now I
Yeah.
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I thought in my head when I did do that, I would do that later on 30s, like after I was a little bit more solidified in the things I also want in life. And at 26, I did it because I was fed up with not seeing places that he could be safe and that we could trust people to have him there. And don't get me wrong, there are places that we do, like there are places that we do love the people there. And like he has been,
And you learn to trust
accept-
that by other caregivers and
Yes.
other adults in
Yes.
the community who have participated in those
Yes,
programs.
exactly.
That the lived experience of
Exactly.
these programs.
Exactly.
Not what they say on their brochure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was something that I immediately took action. And, and I was, my fiance and I, now that we were dating at the time, and it would just be a lot of calls of like, I think I just need to, do this. I need to just, quit my job and like jump into this full time. And then I did that. I started building up a caseload. I was going home to home to home, creating just these small, safe hours of being with the clients. And I noticed that like just by allowing them to feel comfortable with me and feel safe with me, their speech goals came alongside that. And then I had a little 10 by 10 office that I rented out from like an ophthalmologist. And I had little art groups in there. And it was like me or Noelle with like 2 or 3 people, even 3 people was pushing it in that space. And eventually I was able to purchase my office and have now 4 rooms and a center space and a waiting room that we can now provide services. And I have myself and 2 other therapists and multiple educators that are providing these services. So like, I like to frame it instead of being bitter and feeling like I need to have like a vengeance against people. I am just at the point in my life where that is my revenge, is I created a space because you guys couldn't do what you promised. And now I have this space in the community that is beautiful and I love going to every day. And I can say that, like, this is mine. And I created this space where, like, my intention was for Sal to just have a space that he could enjoy and be at. And now we have over 400 sessions a month between speech and programs and people walking in and out of the door. And it's like, it's grown to be something really beautiful out of, you know, they always say, like, you grow through dirt, you know, and that is what happened. But I'm grateful to be able to have this experience now, and give him the space he needs and his friends. So,
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens when you fill the gap.
Right.
Right? You see a need, you fill it,
Yep.
you create something to meet that need, and something beautiful is born.
exactly.
So that's, and
Yeah.
look at how many
Yeah.
lives you influence now,
Yeah.
and how many families you support, and
Yeah.
it's just so beautiful. And if it weren't for Sal, you know, nothing wrong with marine biology,
No, right? No, nothing against you guys at all.
but you know, who knows where your path would have taken you,
Yeah.
and the trajectory of that. So
Yeah.
being able to just hear how you've been able to piece everything together,
Thank you.
and you know, just understanding and seeing where things align, and trusting
Yeah.
too, trusting and knowing, because again, if one person needs it, chances are there's others out there too.
Yes.
And proof is there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
excellent.
exactly. Thank
Excellent.
you.
What would you say if you had a little bit of a tidbit to any other helping professional who's trying to work with the neurodivergent population, with the disability population? What advice would you kind of give them?
Yeah.
What's kind of like one of your go-to nuggets?
Learn from them. So don't learn from people that, not say you can't, because you can learn from an individual who maybe is neurotypical and has worked with the population for a long time, or like has that experience and they have that learned experience. Sure, there are things that you can learn from them. But when it comes to how we talk about individuals, how we work with people, like that true experience, lived experience from an individual who identifies as neurodiverse, that's going to be the best education you can get. If you're in college or you're getting a master's degree, sitting in a class that is talking about that is not going to be as good as that actual experience, and learning and talking to someone, because that information might be wrong. That it might not be what the community actually wants people to know. So that's where you want to try and like feel out in your life too as a professional. You want to feel where you fit as a professional in this population, and who you're learning from is like a very, very, very important piece to how you are going to treat your clients and work with the world.
And being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
When you don't know
Yes.
something, and staying curious to learn more on how to
Yes.
better support, instead of just writing it off. I think so
Exactly.
often professionals will, oh, well, that's not the population I work with. And they stay back in there. And it's okay to have boundaries. It's
Right.
certainly okay to have those professional boundaries. But also, like, take the time. Did you even learn what
Right.
we actually needed? You know,
Right,
like, did you have
exactly.
you- So,
Yep,
but,
for sure.
Yeah, so learning from them is they are the experts in their lives. And so
Yes.
just knowing, and then we're there to guide.
Yeah.
So, beautifully said.
Thank you.
Now, I want another nugget from you, if possible, if you
Yes.
have the bandwidth. What can you share to caregivers that have, you know, a blended, you know, family of abilities? And again, all families have varying
Yes.
abilities, whether, you know, diagnosed or not. But
Yeah.
knowing that they are raising a child that may be medically complex and multiply disabled, alongside children and siblings who are more neurotypical, what advice and what, you know, pieces do you want those caregivers to remember, or possibly even the sibling that may be listening to this?
Yeah, I would definitely say, and it's something that I do recommend to all of the families I ever work with, is to sit back and observe for a minute. It's very quick, or people are very quick to jump in and they watch their child and they're like, I can do that for you, I can do this, or he's not doing it right, let me do it, or I just need to like have hands-on this situation, because so often as a sibling, as a parent, we don't have control in a lot of the areas with our children or our adults. And when we don't have the control, we try to find the control somewhere else. And that might be whether it's doing something for someone or, you know, trying to control your schedules and making everything like beautifully and as a speech therapist, I can't always talk straight. But it's like beautiful and perfect is not the thing that we need. And like everyone's version of perfection is very different. So I always suggest, like, if you see your kid doing something, don't jump in. Give them a minute, watch and see how they're trying to do it first, and then come in and guide if you can. Provide the support. So instead of being full physical prompts, right, which hand over hand is not something that I ever really liked. I don't use it at all, and I don't have my therapist use
Zach
it.
stiff arms. He's
That's
like,
right.
absolutely not.
Right.
I try and do like an elbow nudge sometimes.
Yeah, like something, a little
here,
something.
but-
Like we could lean that way, and then like if I get like resistance of, yeah, like this is truly not what I want. That's them telling me no, and I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
okay,
you know,
all done.
yeah. But just like observing what you're seeing, even not even just the individual, but if there's siblings and you as a parent, sit back and watch and see how they interact, right? How are they talking to each other? How are they communicating? How do they play together? And does that play look the way you think it should, or is it what's best for them and how they play, right? Just really being there and being able to say, like, maybe I need to do something and change a little bit of how I thought I was going to go about that process before I jump in and do something.
Yeah, I talk a lot about with my caregivers of like letting go of those expectations.
Yes.
Or what you pictured your parenthood journey to look like, and, you know, and then what you expect
Yes.
of that child.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Louisa, thank you so much for being a guest
you.
on the Caregiver Reset. Again, if you found this episode to be helpful, be sure to share it with a caregiver, a sibling, a helping professional that could benefit from listening, and tell our listeners where we can find more about the Therapy Garden.
Yeah, if you want to find the Therapy Garden, you can see all the fun stuff we do at the Therapy Garden NJ. And then if you want to check us out on our website, it's www.thetherapygardenNJ.com. And you can reach us at 614-931-0321.
And all of that will be in the show notes, so be sure to like and subscribe and follow along for more episodes from the Caregiver Reset. Reset your life. It's your time to shine. Louisa, thank you again so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Set your heart, hit the